Hey guys, it's Byron here and welcome to Byron's Reviews. First of all, I'd just like to say a big thank you to you guys for all the supportive and lovely comments you posted last week when I couldn't post a video. It truly means a lot, and because of that, today we're going to be doing 2 reviews in one. And these reviews are of films that are known as mockbusters. And mockbusters are made to mimic and look like other bigger films and normally made to cash in on them. Examples are Transmorphers, The Day the Earth Stopped, and the 2 films we're going to be looking at today, AVH Alien vs Hunter and Aliens vs Avatars. So I hope you enjoy. So these are obviously mockbusters of the Alien vs Predator films. And we're going to start by reviewing AVH Alien vs Hunter, a film by The Asylum. I love the cover, by the way. The plot of this film is quite self-explanatory. After crashing to Earth, an alien starts causing trouble and killing people, and then a robotic-looking hunter wants it dead. The alien and the hunter are in the title of this film, so they're obviously what people are going to want to hear about, so let's talk about them first. So from the waist up, the alien looks like a green version of the xenomorph from the movie Alien, and it's done with a man in a costume, which oozes B-movie charm, and it's a lot of fun to look at. However, the bottom of the alien is a spider, and this is done with CGI. However, these CGI shots and the shots of the costume just don't match up, because when there's a shot of the costume, it is so obvious that it's moving on 2 legs, and then when it cuts to this spider thing, it looks like a completely different alien. And the first time I saw this film, I thought there were multiple aliens going around of all different types. But no, there's just the one. But the way these CGI shots and the shots of the costume go together just makes it confusing and it doesn't look right. Then on the other hand, there is the hunter, which is also done with a cheesy costume. But unfortunately, the hunter doesn't look anything like it does on the cover. And in my opinion, it doesn't look as good as the one on the cover. Instead, it looks like a cross between a Cyclops and Toad from Super Mario. It looks so goofy. But goofiness is part of the appeal of B-movies like this, so while it isn't really threatening or cool looking, it may be fun to watch in a so bad it's good sense. Now, despite me only talking about the creatures in the film so far, they're not really the focus of the movie. The human characters are. The film follows a journalist called Lee, who spends the story with several other characters who are trying to survive with the alien and the hunter on the loose. Lee has a somewhat decent character arc, and another character by the name of a Valentine is very entertaining in the sense that he's a badass who tries to take the alien and the hunter on, creating some admittedly fun moments. However, the many other characters, and there are a lot of them, really don't have too much to them. They are mostly not likeable, have little chemistry with one another, and quite frankly, I just found them really annoying to watch. My biggest issue with these characters though, is just how detached they seem from everything that's going on between the alien and the hunter. They are literally just at the side of everything, serving very little purpose because the alien and the hunter could do their thing perfectly fine without them. But I do understand that you do need something to give the story a bit more substance other than just aliens fighting each other. And the human characters are supposed to do this, and I just don't think they do the best job. They are mostly boring and really struggle to carry the story along, in my opinion. And seeing as these are the people who you're going to spend the majority of the film's runtime with in between the cheesy alien fights, you may find that the film gets dull at parts. Having said this, there are some redeeming factors that do give the sections of the film with the human characters at least some enjoyment, and the dialogue is one of those things. The dialogue seems like it's improvised, and because of that there are a lot of contradictions that the characters say. This may sound like a bad thing, but I actually quite like this about the film, because it made the dialogue so bad it's good. I think this is due to the fact that the actors are giving it their all, but they're obviously quite rushed in this film's production. But they play it completely straight, and as a result a lot of the lines they say are very quotable and memorable. On top of this, there are a lot of underground tunnel scenes that really showcase some B-movie charm with its set design, coloured lighting and smoke. And it really shows that these filmmakers are just trying to do the best they can with a very small budget, and I love that aspect of low budget filmmaking. I do think that there are way too many of these underground tunnel scenes though, as the second half of the film features a lot of them, many of which aren't even really relevant to progressing the film and just take up the film's runtime unnecessarily. And even though elements like the underground tunnel scene do provide a bit of an eerie atmosphere until they get old, it is really hampered by the film's soundtrack, which consists of just very mediocre royalty-free music. And I know you could say that they couldn't afford to have an original score because this is a low-budget film, but other films by the Asylum, the company that made this film, have had amazing original scores, and AVH just lacks the extra push that gives, because music really can do a lot in films. To conclude, B-movie fans may get enjoyment out of the so bad it's good elements, fun alien costume and showcases of low-budget filmmaking, but that aside, I just found AVH to be very repetitive and the characters really struggle to carry it along, so because of that I'd only really recommend this film if you're a hardcore Asylum fan or you don't mind mediocre horror or sci-fi films. But other than those people, I'd give it a miss. Now, let's move on to reviewing Aliens vs Avatars by Tomcat Films, and let's see if this one's any better than AVH Alien vs Hunter. Spoiler alert, it is. First of all, I just love how shameless the title is. Not only is it ripping off Alien vs Predator, but also Avatar. Amazing. Once again, the plot really doesn't need any explanation. An alien crashes to Earth and something is trying to kill it. In this case, the Avatar, or as the film calls her, Ava. And of course, some humans are thrown in the mix for good measure. Like we did with AVH, let's start by talking about the alien in Aliens vs Avatars. It is known as a scythe, and surprisingly it doesn't mimic the xenomorph of Alien in terms of design, so points for creativity. Once again, the alien in this film is a man in a costume, and the costume itself looks a bit cheaper than the one in AVH, but it's a B-movie. That's fine. I want and expect cheesy costumes in a film like this. It makes it fun. Also, the scythe in Aliens vs Avatars seems to have more cool abilities than the alien in AVH did. While the one in AVH could really just climb on walls and move a bit fast, the scythe in Aliens vs Avatars can shapeshift, become invisible, and do lots of cool stuff. Then there's who the alien is up against, the Avatar, who is a character known as Ava, and Ava has a surprising amount of depth, and she has a really interesting backstory, and that goes for the scythe too. However, this backstory is told in very lengthy explanations instead of showing you it within the film somehow, and while I didn't mind this personally, I can see some people finding it slightly dull maybe. What's really cool about Ava though is that she has a robot known as a Robotar, and the job of the Robotar is to kill the alien. And once again, the costume of the Robotar does look cheaply made, but that doesn't matter, as I said earlier. And in fact, it kind of resembles that boss from Sonic Adventure 2. But all in all, the robot is fun to watch and adds a lot of charm. And once again, as was the case with Alien vs Hunter, the human characters are there to carry the story along. And in this case, I'd say they mostly accomplish that task well. The characters are college students who go on a camping trip in the woods. That's not a horror cliche or anything. What could possibly go wrong? The characters are all very generic and cliche, but that's all you really need in a B-movie in my opinion. And that aside, there are a lot of characters who are there just to be killed, but that trope certainly isn't exclusive just to Aliens vs Avatars. Some of the characters are well-rounded and defined. Tyler, for instance, or his friend Jake, even though he is a bit of a jerk, so maybe he isn't the most likeable. And on the other hand, all they really do talk about during the first half of the movie is sex and drinking, and it's not really that appropriate for a sci-fi film, as I think a lot of the characters would feel more at home in like a high school movie. My favourite thing about these characters though is how they actually do get involved with the alien and Avatar's battle, because they team up with Ava and help her out. They're not just bystanders with no purpose like they were in AVH Alien vs Hunter, which does make them relevant and really interesting in some occasions. The characters aside, I do think that Aliens vs Avatars has a very fun style with its CGI effects and its soundtrack. They give it a really exaggerated old school sci-fi feel, which I got a lot of enjoyment out of. It was very appropriate for a B-movie, and this is really showcased in the film's opening sequence. Something that I would like to quickly point out before my conclusion of Aliens vs Avatars is that I think that my version of the DVD is a different version to that of what was shown in the trailer, because in the trailer there was a lot of very fun looking gore, and all of the gore seems to have been taken out in this DVD. I don't know why that was, and I don't think it's to make it more age appropriate, because right at the beginning of even this version of the film, there's some very explicit nudity, which serves no purpose, by the way, and it's completely irrelevant to the story, but it's there. But that aside, it's something that's worth taking note of. While I still enjoyed this version of the film, if you see a German copy that looks like this, expect it to have the gore taken out. So to conclude, while Aliens vs Avatars may seem a bit more like a high school flick in the first half, it overall manages to be a very fun time with an old school B-movie feel, characters that are actually involved with the Alien and Avatar's story, and lots of fun sci-fi elements. So I would recommend Aliens vs Avatars to B-movie fans who are looking for some cheesy, albeit generic escapism. I imagine that it'd be a great film to watch with friends too. So it really is a recipe for a fun B-movie. So I hope you enjoyed these reviews. It's crazy how many mockbusters of Alien vs Predator there are out there, and these aren't the only ones. Look at this, for instance, Alien vs Ninja. But that's perhaps a review for another time. For now, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you've seen any of these films, be sure to let me know what you thought of them in the comments. And with this video, I tried to experiment with a few things and try a couple of new things that I haven't really done in my previous content. So any feedback would be appreciated. And tell me if you liked them or not, or any of that jazz. Anyway, I hope you guys are okay. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. It has a really fun B-movie old school feel, lots of great sci-fi elephants, and with elephants? Jesus Christ.